I am Rita Rodgers Stanley, born and raised in Kansas City. I was Dr. Rodgers' third child, so I was a baby. Grew up in the Leeds area, right across from the Veterans Hospital, so I grew up seeing the Veterans Hospital every day of my life. From there, went to UMKC undergraduate, and then on to St. Louis University for my medical school. Yeah, and it's interesting. I went not a different way, but once I left here, I continued to practice internal medicine, but it didn't take very long before I recognized what I believe Daddy had for many years, just that inner dissatisfaction. Now, my dissatisfaction was that in traditional medicine, we were just looking for disease. We were just making diagnoses and writing prescriptions. And in a transition, a major kind of career change, I veered over into something called functional medicine, integrative medicine, because I knew instinctively that if we could catch a person, measure some things, see that they're pre-diabetic before they become diabetic, then we could do some things early to prevent that diabetes diagnosis and all the medications. So that has been a joy to me. And when I think about it, in many ways, it's the same kind of nudging that Dr. Rodgers had, that there's something that we can do for people that's even better. But places like this make it clear that even if you don't have insurance, even if you're poor, we have some good doctors who will take good care of you. And that's what Rodgers Health Center does, just takes care of anybody who needs it with the best staff, well-trained, credentialed, and we hold high quality standards here for the care. Well, listen, I just want to thank Bob Thies for nominating me for this award. I'm so honored, and honestly, I was taken aback, really. But immediately, I just thought of myself as receiving this on behalf of Dr. Samuel Rodgers, and just being really honored to receive this award. So thank you so very much.
I'm a Missouri native. My dad's family actually was one of the first families to settle in Cole County in the late 1820s, early 1830s. I was born here. I come from an agricultural background. My father was a farmer, and my folks had a farm here in Cole County, but when I was a small child, they bought a bigger farm northeast of Sedalia, Missouri. So even though my family connections were all Cole County, I spent my childhood and grew up northeast of Sedalia, Missouri, on our family farm. So I spent 14 years in private practice, and it was, again, a very rewarding, gratifying position, but I just didn't feel the same satisfaction in my work that I felt in the community health center. I've always felt that the community health center model is the epitome of quality medical care. It addresses the whole human being. That's been the philosophy always. And just that interface, kind of that concept of your clinic really doesn't have walls. You're serving your patients and you're serving your community. I had no idea I was being nominated, but I believe that my medical director and chief executive officer here at Community Health Center Central Missouri, Dr. Crystal Sullivan, made the nomination. Surprised and humbled, because when I heard that it was the Sam Rodgers Award, it just literally moved me to tears. I'd like to thank everyone who's here tonight attending this event. I can't tell you how honored and how humbled I am by receiving this award, especially because it's in honor of Dr. Sam Rodgers. And I know how much Dr. Rodgers did for healthcare in Kansas City and as a national advocate. And it's a great honor to receive this. I'd also like to thank each and every one of you here in the room for what you've done for community health centers in our state and in our nation. It's important work. I know sometimes it's thankless work, but every day when I see the patients that I see, it's so worth it.
I really chose to go into healthcare. There was an inspirational person in my life, my grandmother, and she passed away when I was in 5th grade, but she was a nurse. And she was my inspiration to go into healthcare. And I knew I wanted to work with people, and I knew I wanted to work in healthcare. And I figured that nursing was the best route for me to go because I liked the bedside nursing aspect. I actually volunteered abroad when I was in college, in my undergrad, in Costa Rica, and that really inspired me to become more involved in community health, and it really showed me a lot about healthcare in other countries. It's very, very rewarding. Like I said earlier, our patients are just so thankful for every little thing we do, most of them, and it's really enlightening to be able to help them with their struggles, both in healthcare and with housing and other things they need help with. You know, the longer I'm here, the more I like it. I like being here. I find myself like looking forward to going to work the next day and looking forward to seeing my patients. So as of right now, I do not see myself leaving. I see myself staying here for a while. Thank you so much for this opportunity and for nominating me for the Kit Bond Scholarship. I am very excited to be more involved in Missouri Community Health.
So, Missouri needs good access to good dental because everybody here in Missouri deserves it. Everybody here in Missouri, especially the kids, deserve quality care and care that they could actually go to be able to have an office here that's open and willing to see those kids and being able to help them not be in pain while they're in school so they can learn better is an awesome opportunity that they have now. The Kit Bond Scholarship will open up the door for me in many different ways. As a practitioner, I'm able to put it towards continuing education credits to where I could expand on things that I've learned and improve upon them, or learn new things that I could bring back to the community. You get to go home with that satisfaction knowing you did what you can for your community and hopefully make it better each and every day by going to work. I like to thank everybody who nominated me for this Kit Bond Scholarship. This award will give me the opportunity to further my education that I will be able to bring back to this community that I serve here in Nevada, Missouri. And once again, I wish to thank you for this opportunity.
It's actually funny, you know how kids, like when they're in kindergarten, they say, oh, what do you want to be when you grow up? And they write it in like a yearbook. Mine was a dentist, and I believe it, you know, because I'm here now, and it's kind of cool to see it through from that point to this point. Coming here, especially COMC, is great, and I wake up every day excited to come here. I have an awesome team. I love all my assistants, the other dentists are great. They're awesome as well. Great. I love the community we get to serve. A lot of people, like I said, I grew up in this community, and so I get to finally give back after a lot of years of being a student and, you know, living off in Kansas City, which I loved. Kansas City's a great city, but I'm excited to be back home. So to come to a place like COMC and see, we have behavioral health, we have an OBGYN, we're getting a pharmacy, we have dental, we have medical. Like, for a lot of families and for a lot of individuals, everybody across, you know, all demographics, like, are able to come here and receive so much care that if they had to go to Jeff City for that, or if they need to drive to Springfield, that they would put off their healthcare because it's an inconvenience. And I think that's what's amazing about COMC is we're all about lowering that bar, that barrier, I guess, of entry for somebody to pursue health. And I think all FQHCs are very successful at that. I, from the bottom of my heart, just want to thank everyone who's made the Kit Bond Scholarship a possibility. I know how it's impacting my ability to deliver care, and I know a lot of other students who have debt like I do are so appreciative for that, so thank you.
And so that was a really nice incentive for me. I already liked that, serving that type of community, because that was kind of what I did through school, the 2 years in St. Louis during my schooling. So it was something I was very familiar with, really liked to see the giving back aspect that I was able to do as a student, and also wanted to continue that as a provider as well. Yeah, with this type of dentistry, I do feel that just being in here for at least a year, I do see how a lot of these patients have Medicaid, Medicare, where a lot of providers don't take that in private practice. And so you can really sense and see that appreciation aspect that you get with these patients, because they know that they don't have those services available in private practice, where they can get that at these FQHCs. Well, it kind of all began back before dental school. Like when I've talked back on Smiles of Hope, that was that extraction clinic that operates out of Dexter, Missouri. There was one person that did come in there that I remember and always referred back to anytime somebody asked me this question. They came in, a lot of pain, wanted a lot of teeth taken out. And before we started anything, they said, God bless you for being here and providing all this service, because I've not been able to ever get into anybody else. I don't have the money to do it. And it really touched me, honestly, knowing that. And ever since then, it kind of really increased my interest in that type of demographic. And because with private practice, you do get that in private practice. People are very appreciative, but with this demographic, they know that those options aren't out there for them. I just want to say thank you to everyone that has been part of nominating me for this Kit Bond Scholarship. It's really helped me and it will help me in my career moving forward. And I just want to say thank you to everyone that's been involved.
So my overall advocacy goals really involve increasing access to psychiatric care for kind of all kids in Missouri, but particularly kids in communities that already don't have as easy of access to medical care. Part of the reason that I started to become more interested in kind of identification and treatment of autism is actually a pretty personal reason. So my younger cousin is autistic, and he had a really hard time growing up. And we really thought that he was going to be someone who would need kind of full-time care for the rest of his life. But he was really lucky that he was diagnosed early, and he had access to really good resources to help treat his autism and to kind of help him exist in the world as independently as he possibly could. And just seeing what those resources were able to do for him. So he went from being practically nonverbal and having really a lot of emotional struggles to now he has a part-time job. My family is looking into having him live semi-independently in his own apartment. And I think it's just made me really realize that there are probably a lot of kids who could have a similar path to him, but might not get that chance because their condition isn't going to be identified as early, and they're not going to have the same access to resources. So I think that he kind of inspired me to go down this path, because I think that there's a lot of potential to really improve people's lives and help them live independently with early identification of autism and the proper support. I just want to say thank you to whoever nominated me for the Kit Bond Scholarship Award, and really to everyone who's involved in the award. I really appreciate what you all do and your prioritization of work in the public sector. Thank you again. I really appreciate it so much.
So really like helping people, enjoy making people feel good. I coached for a while in college, and I really enjoyed coaching, getting to see my players smile, have good experiences when they had succeeded or did well. But I knew I wanted to help people more and do more. And so kind of was thinking about different professions where I can help people, but also be hands-on, kind of like coaching was, and dentistry kind of fit all those things for me. It would be helping people, serving the community, but also get to use my hands and create and make things. So shadowed at a couple different offices in Kirksville, private practice offices, and then also the FQHC there. Northeast Missouri Health Council, Northeast Dental. And while I was there, I was able to talk to the dentist there, really get to learn kind of the ins and outs of the profession, what it looks like. And it was sweet just shadowing, seeing the dentist come in, say, hey, you got a problem, we can fix it, and then see the person walk away happy and relieved. It was really quite a good experience and kind of led me along, or gave me the idea for sure of, hey, dentistry might be where it's at. Well, I just want to thank the Missouri Community Health Foundation for the Kit Bond Scholarship. It's a true blessing to me and my family. Just thank especially people that have helped me to get to this point, Andy Graham, my family, and Joni Adamson specifically. Andy and Joni have really kind of helped pioneer me and got me, helped me out through this, answering any questions, asking me questions, just kind of helping push me along, and truly appreciate it, truly appreciate everything that the foundation is going to do for me and my family with the loan forgiveness scholarship, and then also this Kit Bond scholarship as well. Just thank you and appreciate it all.
So I was born in Colombia in South America. My family came to the United States when I was 7 years old, just sort of seeking a safer place to raise a child and better economic opportunities. And then in medical school, I had an early interest in OBGYN and reproductive rights, so decided to pursue that path. And then I stayed at WashU for my OBGYN residency. Throughout residency, I worked with physicians from Affinia closely, and even actually in medical school, it was my favorite rotation, my OBGYN clerkship at Affinia. So kind of from early days knew that I wanted to work here. I'm just as really passionate about the patient population that we take care of. So for the foreseeable future, see myself working here. In my clinic, I take care of, an urban, underserved population. But for me specifically, as a provider who is fluent in Spanish, I have drawn a lot of Spanish-speaking patients. Over half of my patients speak Spanish, and a lot of them are recent immigrants to the United States. So as someone who shares that background and has had the immigrant experience, it's really, first, it makes things a lot easier, and you can see the relief on patients' faces when they see that the provider speaks the same language as them. But also is just, it's rewarding on a whole other level to be able to take care of patients who had similar experiences to you. I'd like to say thank you so much to the Missouri Primary Care Association for all of the support. It is really an honor to be a recipient of the Kit Bond Scholarship. I feel that what I do really matters, and I find it really rewarding, and it feels nice to also be recognized by others for the same thing. And I'm really thankful for the support along this medical journey. Thank you so much.
And so I was in education for 39 years, both as a teacher and an administrator towards the end of my career. But originally what motivated me was we had a child at one of the school districts, and we couldn't find any dental facility that would take him because he was underserved, had no insurance, but his mouth was full of cavities. And so that just kind of started like, where do we find services for this child? And talking to different people in the community, we found that there's a much bigger need for that. And that's kind of how it all started. Joe Purley was definitely helpful for us, and he continues to be helpful. One thing I can say is I'm so proud of all of our staff, because they treat every person just the same. It makes no difference where they came from. First of all, I'd like to thank Brian Adcock, who is our CEO here at the clinic, and I also would like to thank the committee at MPCA. Thank you so much, MPCA, and for all that you do and what you've done for us throughout the years. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
And I was sitting in Greg's office with his CNO, Jen, and she's an old ICU nurse. And we were talking about our woes of what are we going to do? We don't want to lay off people. And she said, can you make my A1C patients show up for their blood draws? And my sarcastic response was no, but we can go do it for you. And from that, We started doing house calls, preventative care that is not normal for my business. So we took that proactive, let's just go check on people during the pandemic that weren't calling 911 that arguably should have been, and we were able to start doing some primary care in home. The nice thing about the FQHCs is we not only have primary care providers, I have access to podiatry, we have access to behavioral health services, to dental care. There are now 8 different networks, as we call them, across Missouri that include some form of FQHC and EMS partnership. Our model is partnering the ambulance service with our federally qualified health center. We were the first EMS FQHC partnership in the country, and we're now married at the hip. I didn't know I was nominated. I didn't know I was being voted upon until I got a nice email from Joe Purley going, "Congratulations, Justin, you have won our Hometown Hero Award and you were nominated by Greg." I do not consider myself a hometown hero. So when I think of a hometown hero and I think of the award, it's really the system of care and all of the partners that are willing to set egos aside and come to the table to take care of sick people. It's breaking down those barriers. That's what creates a hometown hero network.
Sir William Osler, he was the father of medicine. He used to tell his medical students, 90% of the time your diagnosis is made in the history, which you get talking to the patient, not in your exam. Partners and medical students, when they would come through, that's all you need to do is take good care of people, and you'll be fine, you'll be busy, you know? You don't need to market like advertising on billboards. Your best marketing is just taking good care of people and word of mouth. But then these new people come to you. So you saw this good friend of mine and I'd like you to be my doctor. And it's like, okay. Sometimes it's cost of medication. We've got this awesome 340B program, and we just added pharmacy. And our brand new pharmacist, who I took care of as a kid and her parents when they were in high school, she's starting up pharmacy. And so that's going to help patients when they say, I can't afford this medication. Next generation, you know, it's kind of fun how it happens in small towns. One of the drives out here is helping people that maybe don't have the resources to pay for their medical treatment. They don't have health insurance. So we can see them on a sliding scale. And I like doing that, taking care of people who otherwise couldn't get good health care. Well, I'd like to thank Kelly Miller, our CEO, for thinking of me and pursuing this award, acknowledging my dedicated work in this community for 30 years. But it's a great honor, and I'm privileged that this award's been directed to me. Thank you.
One thing that we all preach is how we get people to go to rural Missouri, you know, and to bring jobs. And, you know, the number one thing is access to health care. If you have good access to health care, then, you know, schools and jobs will follow. So it's been very important to me to support FQHCs. You know, I decided that I was going to, you know, make it a point to try to bring dollars back to my district. And this 340B legislation is we tried to pass this for the last 3 years. This was a big deal to get done this last year. I really am honored, you know, to get nominated for this champion award. It means a lot to me. If we want to make rural Missouri sustainable, you know, long term, we have to keep increasing these primary care locations like that.
I've worked a lot in healthcare over my career, and so at that time I just thought it was very important to have a voice for the people in my district. Well, as a legislator, it's very important to speak on behalf of our federally qualified health centers, our rural hospitals. I mean, I am their voice, right? Issues that are important to them that will keep the sustainability of healthcare in our rural communities. As an advocate and both a legislator, I can provide not only a voice for them, but laws and put things into state statute that protects and helps them be sustainable in the future. But what I can tell you is the passage of this law this year is just an amazing thing for Missourians. And when you talk about public service and providing for everyone in the state of Missouri in some way, shape, or form, this 340B legislation affects everyone in the state of Missouri, and that's a great feeling. I would just like to thank Stuart Gibson and the Missouri Primary Care Association for nominating me for this award. It is an honor and a privilege to be recognized, and I'm very thankful.
I've worked with community health centers now since 1998. And for the last 4.5 years or 4 years, I've had the honor of working directly for the State Associations of Community Health Centers, or PCAs. Health centers around the country are incredibly impressed, not to mention probably a bit jealous of the many accomplishments that Joe and his team have gotten and all the health centers in Missouri. Then when I got to NAC, I very quickly realized that 340B was fundamental to a lot of health centers' abilities to keep their doors open. It's actually been my primary focus for, I'd say, the last 8 years or so. We push for federal legislation, we get state legislation where we can, and the other thing we keep doing is making sure that our story is being heard. I'd really like to thank the members of the Missouri PCA for nominating me for this award. I just, the work that needed to be done, it didn't occur to me that somebody would give me an award for this, so I really appreciate that. And can I tell you, the biggest reward in my professional life is working on behalf of all of you, because you guys are on the front lines. You're the ones who are making the lives of people in this country better. You're making for a more fair, more kind, more healthy, more productive nation. It is truly an honor to feel like the work that I do every day is helping you do that work on the front lines, because that's really the work that makes us a better and stronger country. So thank you for that.